Hi, this is Jen Rubin. This is Jen Rubin's Green Room. We're back from Chicago. Yay. That was so much fun. And if you watched our podcasts while I was there, you could probably tell I was having the time of my life. And there was good reason for it. Not only did you see this outpouring of joy, but you finally saw Democrats get their act together. You saw Kamala Harris go on offense. You saw her present herself as an alternative, not only to Trump, but to Trumpism. You saw her reclaim those themes that Democrats have gotten beaten on for cycle after cycle: patriotism, support for the military, support for communities, support for the police. It was a patriotic outpouring. It was a unifying message, and it was really fun. It was fun. And I think that's why you have this explosion of volunteers, an explosion of money. And I think we've really got a shot to win this thing now. But it is not won yet. And I do worry that in 10 weeks, enthusiasm can fade. People can kind of think, oh, we've got this in the bag now. They can go on cruise control. Donald Trump is going to have something or some things up his sleeve, we know, in the weeks ahead. And he's going to throw everything possible at the wall and see what sticks. And we're reminded how much is at stake. Consider what he's proposing. Consider what Donald Trump wants to do with this country. I'll choose just one thing: his screwy tariff policy. 10% on everything and 60% on goods from China. That is a declaration of war on our allies. That is a recipe for international recession. Does no one in that camp remember Smoot-Hawley? Does no one remember the Great Recession? That's just one specific item that he proudly touts that is achievable if he gets his Republicans in office. That would be devastating to American families. That's just one thing, one economic plan. And internationally, we know he is going to sell this country down the drain. AOC had a great line, and she pantomimed it when she delivered the line. He would sell this country down the river for $1, she said, as she thrust her hand into her metaphoric pocket. And she's right. He's going to side with all of the bad guys. He identifies with dictators. He wants to be one of the dictators. He has contempt for people who are nice, who are pro-democracy. He doesn't want those things. He wants to associate with the tough guys, with the big guys, Kim Jong-un and President Xi and Vladimir Putin, those kinds of guys. Those are his people. So the stakes are enormous. And his psychology, his mental state is worse than ever. And it's going to get even worse because with every day, with every huge crowd size, it's one more chink in his armor. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are going on a tour of Georgia this week, which tells you, by the way, how strong the campaign is that they're spending time in Georgia. They're not rushing up to reinforce Pennsylvania. They're making clear that they're going to compete in all 7 of the swing states, Georgia being one of them. And when she goes there, and she's going to draw huge fans and huge crowds, once more he's going to come unhinged because he can't take it. That is a sign that he's no longer top dog. It's like TV ratings. And remember what happened to that TV show. It had really good ratings, but then people got tired of him. They got tired of his act. It became repetitive. It became boring. And that's the thing that really stands out about Trump. He's not saying anything new. After you've heard the shark and the battery story 10 times, you've had enough. After he's called her dumb, which is a dumb accusation, what more is there to say? He's become a one-note kind of a guy. His whining and his complaining is pathetic. And so people are tired. That's why people leave his rallies. The best shots are those people heading for the exits before he's done. Because can you imagine sitting there for an hour or more listening to this guy, listening to the psychotic personality? Even his followers, who are frankly a little off the beam to be there in the first place, can't take it. So I think that's a metaphor. People are leaving the building, Donald. People are going someplace else. There's a better show in town. There's a shinier, younger, smarter, more fun candidate. And you're not it. And that's what's contributing to, I think, his downfall and his unraveling. Now, Donald Trump is certainly going to go on the attack. He is certainly going to be as obstreperous as possible during that debate. But the real worry, of course, is he's never going to accept the results of the election. We have to be emotionally, legally, mentally, politically prepared to take that on. And the press has to behave responsibly. I know that sounds like an impossibility because they've gone so far in normalizing him. They've gone so far in treating him like a real candidate and in making his utterances into arguments, into attacks when it's just ranting and raving. But he will contest the election before the night is out. He will say he's won and we should stop the voting and the results are fraudulent if he doesn't win. And so the question for the media is this: are they going to play along? Are they going to deny calling her the president-elect because Donald Trump is ranting and raving and making up some cock and bull story about how the election is rigged? Or are they going to play it straight? Are they for once going to say, no, he's lying. He is lying to these people, and we're not going to amplify that. We're going to call a spade a spade. We're going to announce the winner. We're going to stick by it. And we're not going to call this a contested election. We're not going to call this an election in dispute. We're going to call it what it is, a victory. And yes, we'll follow the legal claims and the lawsuits and the ranting and raving, but we're going to call them what they are, and that's acts of desperation. So I would hope as the momentum of this race continues to turn in Kamala Harris's favor, and we certainly hope it doesn't peter out, that the media prepare themselves because they have not done a good job covering this race, and they can redeem themselves perhaps in covering the results and the aftermath. And that means finally calling out Donald Trump for the liar, for the insurrectionist, for the scoundrel that he is. It's about time we allowed democracy to prevail. It's about time we treated the only candidate who is pro-democracy with respect. And we're going to have a chance to do that just 10 weeks from now. So make sure you keep involved. Make sure you keep following the program. Make sure you let me know what you're thinking. But I think this is going to work out pretty darn well.